Be an ethical leader and not be inclusive? That's the question I'd like to ask. 212, you would have learned maybe here are some traits, here's the Myers-Briggs or, the Strengths Quest. So I can look at my organization and know that everyone's not going to be like me, and that's really a good thing. So many organizations, they're going to be just like the leader. They're going to look like me, they're going to think like me, because that's really nice and comfortable. That organization is probably not going to make any progress on anything of any significance. Everyone has an important role to play in your organization.
Being inclusive to me just means that you're actively seeking how to include people, which could involve different perspectives that you've never thought of before. We're surrounded by a lot of great people in these classes, but when you go out into the workforce, you may not have people that are knowledgeable of leadership theories. Right. And that can be really frustrating when you're like, well, especially if your boss is expecting you to be an authority as opposed to being a servant leader or just exercising leadership. If that expectation is coming from above you, it's going to be hard to take your time and diagnose the situation. You've got to work with your boss and say, this is what I'm doing, and be able to explain that you need some time before you just jump in and make all these changes.
Some of my closest friends that I had going through college were Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, and even though I follow Christianity and follow the teaching of the Bible, people who do not follow the same teachings still need to be a part of things that I'm doing, and I need to be a part of things that they're doing. Big problem that we have right now in politics is that people cannot find common ground, and so as a leader we need to practice what that common ground is and don't let the differences. And that's, to me, an inclusive leader is someone who can put the differences aside and find the common ground.
I never want to be the person that would build a wall or shut a door because of a behavior or something I've said or something I've done. I don't want to be that person. To me, the kind of bottom line of being a human is trying to figure out how to love one another. And so if you are building up these walls based on these are, you have to do this to be my friend, you have to be like this, you're not doing any favors.
Am I doing what I'm doing? Again, is it a selfish motivation? So it goes maybe back to motives and motivation. Is it selfish, or is it truly beyond just me? We owe it to the world to bring along those who don't have a voice at the table. If I do a project that I want to help college students get a job, okay, that's great, but gosh, we're already privileged because we're in college, aren't we? So I think that inclusive part can also say, who are the people who are walking the streets of Manhattan or Kansas or our country or our world that need to have their voices heard and don't have the opportunity like I have.
An inclusive leader, he spoke of how vital and important it is to include differing opinions. So you might have opinions that from people that you might think are dumb, and you might think those opinions are not worth thinking about, but it's so important and crucial that we get different perspectives and hear different angles on what an issue is, on every issue, in order that we can make good observations. If we don't have every perspective, we're not making a good observation, and we can't interpret the situation well without those observations, and we'll come up with faulty, insufficient interventions if we do not have those unique voices engaged throughout every problem and every decision we make, as far as a decision that's made for initiating a change.